This novella was really powerful. Also, the dog needed to be in it more. Very Fever Dream-esque book, but all I remember about this book is I hated it. Well, if you know me, you know where this is going. God tier. Who's ready? Who is ready? Because I know I am. We are going to be tier ranking all of the 100+ books that I've read this year. So buckle up, get ready, please grab a snack because this is going to be a long one, and let's hop into my favorite video of the year. I had to relocate because I was too backlit with my lamp on, and then without my lamp on it was too like blue, and this is a little too like orange. There. Oh my god. Okay, for some reason my tiers just deleted like the names of them, so I just redid them and the names aren't as funny, so let's pretend I was more creative this time around. But so on the bottom we have LOL No. These are DNFs or just books I did not enjoy. We have I Forgot All About These. It just wasn't memorable enough to stick with me, and I just don't really care.
I just also wanted to pop in and say that the category I Forgot About You, I kind of also ended up taking this as books that I will like never think about on the daily basis, and that to remember anything of I have to like rack my entire brain. Just books that like I forget about in the day-to-day life. Not like in general, but like also these are books that if someone asked me what thrillers have you read this year, I would not list off these because I would just forget.
Kind of enjoyed, but meh. These are books that like I enjoyed while I was reading them, but like after I haven't thought about much, or just they were okay. Good is good books that I would recommend and I enjoyed, but just that I may not think about all the time or may not be like all-time faves. So good is books that are really good and books I think about pretty frequently, but just not my favorites of all time. God tier, these are 5 and 6 star books that I think about way too much. This is gonna be very limited because it's gonna be very God tier. Like a lot of them are probably gonna be so good, but God tier is the ones I think about the most. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, these are all of the books I have read this year. I think, well, they're kind of in order. Actually, they might be mostly in order, except for Things We Never Got Over. That's like way down here. Yeah, I think we're actually almost perfectly in order, so I feel like that never happens. But the first book I started my year off with was Dracora by Lynette Noni, and this is the third book in the Madoran Chronicles series. This one I remember really enjoying. I think I'm gonna put it in good. Did these upload as squares? Oh, hang on. Okay, I fixed it. This series was really good to me. I can't really pick a favorite book out of it, but this one's definitely like up there. I really enjoyed it. I liked kind of the setting of this one a lot. I just don't really think about like, I guess this book specifically a lot. It's good there. I'm gonna put Imagine Me in I Forgot About This because this series I was reading for so long, I just kind of blacked out and forgot about it all. I don't even remember what really happened in this one, and it took me over a year to finish, so that's just not a great sign for me. So, and then Crescent City, I think I'm gonna put this like hurts to do because to me Sarah J Maas is just a god tier author, but I just don't think about these books enough for them to be in that. Like I do frequently, but just not like that level, you know? But yeah, I still really enjoyed this series and I like her characters, but yeah, I just don't, when I'm thinking J Maas, I think of her other 2 series way more and I enjoyed them a lot more. So the third one, it's in good because it was probably my least favorite of the series. I felt like the ending was kind of rushed, and then I feel like it was just very hyped up to be this like insane book, and it wasn't all of that, but still a great book. Betting on You, between these two. I kind of want to put it in I Forgot About It because honestly, I forgot this even came out this year, I think it did, and I really didn't enjoy it. To me, it just felt like a big trope dump, and I just didn't really like connect with the characters or care, and it was kind of just cringy to me at some point, and I forgot about it really. Cinder and Scarlet, I'm gonna put these in good, but like they're almost a so. I'm gonna do Crest too right now. I think I'm gonna put them in good, but like they're borderline so good, but I don't know if they're quite there. To me, so good's like 5-ish, 4.5-ish stars, and I think I give them around a 4, but the series is like so good, and I have a feeling the 4th book that I'm reading right now could be in one of these tiers. So I love this series. Please go read it. It's so good. Bride, I think this is one of those books that I really enjoyed while I was in the middle of it, but after reading it, I haven't really thought about it since. But I do think that Ali Hazelwood did fantasy really well. She is just such a good author. I feel like she can do anything, and she killed the fantasy take. Into the Dark. I might keep this in So Good because I read this at the start of the year, and to me, I haven't really thought about it like a ton since then. I really enjoyed it though, and I feel like it wrapped up the story good. But I feel like I haven't thought about it enough throughout the year to put it in God tier since I read it like the start of February. The Perfect Marriage. I think it's good here. The thing with this book is I really loved the first like 80% of it, and then the ending, like the twist, it just fell so flat, and I feel like it got really rushed at the end, so that really ruined it. Because like for thrillers, you know, I need a good plot twist and a crazy ending. In this one, it was crazy, but like in a very predictable way and like anticlimactic way. But I did really love the first part of it. This is going in Good. It's one of those books that like I really enjoyed while I was reading it, and then I still think about like frequently, like if hockey's brought up or whatever. So I think it definitely deserves to be here because it was so enjoyable to read. I really liked their romance, and the guy was very acts of service. So I'm kind of between these two for yours truly. I think I'm gonna put it in Good. No, I'm gonna put it in So Good because this is what brought me down the Abby Jimenez rabbit hole, and I love her so much, and this book was, I feel like, a great way to start. I do wish I would have started with Part of Your World, but I love this so much. I love them, and it's just such a sweet, wholesome story. No Exit. I was in my thriller era here. Oh my goodness. No Exit. I loved this one. This is maybe my favorite thriller of the year, low-key. It was just crazy throughout. There was stuff happening the entire time, and I was so hooked on this story, I could not put it down. I think it's definitely good. Yeah, probably my favorite thriller of the year, honestly. The Right Move by Liz Tomford. This is definitely, if not my favorite series to come out of this year. I skipped Mile High and just went to The Right Move. I heard people say that it wasn't the best and they DNF'd it, so I just skipped to this book, and I'm honestly glad I did. I haven't tried to pick up Mile High yet. I'm not sure if I will because I don't want to ruin the series for myself, but I love The Right Move so much. Like, it was incredible. Definitely one of my favorite kind of like rom-com sports romances of the year. Maybe we'll do the rest of this series now, if I can find them. Here's Caught Up. I kind of feel like Caught Up's my least favorite of this series, but like it's still in So Good because just they're the funnest books ever. And Liz Tomford just does everything perfectly. She does the romance perfectly, the friendships, the found family, all of it perfectly. So yeah, they are all there. And don't even get me started on how excited I am for the 5th one. I think I'm gonna put this one in I Forgot All About These because again, this is one that like I completely forgot Lynn Painter even has, and I feel like it was a really short book and it wasn't too memorable. Like, I genuinely don't remember anything other than the fact that they had to crash weddings together. The Story Life of AJ Fikry. See, this one I feel like when I originally finished, it would have been so good, but I feel like I have not thought about it like at all since. So I'm gonna keep it in Good, I think, because I did cry while reading it and really enjoy it. So I think it deserves Good, but I don't think I've really thought about it enough for it to be in So Good. The Bodyguard. This was just a good old fun time. I had fun with this one. I enjoyed it. It was kind of different than what I expected, but I really liked reading about both of their lives and the other characters too, and I liked the setting of the story a lot. I'm putting this in here too because again, the series and we just, okay, there is a common theme in this group right now, and like I love Lynn Painter, and I liked the first part of this Shatter Me series. Second half just like, whoa. Yeah, I just didn't really care, and when I got to these two especially, I was just so over the series. That's why they're there, because mentally I was so checked out. So I just kind of had a bad mindset going into it, so that probably affected why it's in here. But this book, genuinely, I was really excited for it, honestly. I feel like I'd heard people enjoy it. It was not that entertaining, and if I had to list all the books I've read this year from memory, I would forget about this one. But like, I feel like it had so much potential and the premise sounded so good. It was like half of her soul was like taken to this somewhere else, or someone took it. I don't remember. Hence why it's in this category. I really enjoyed this book. I think again, it was like so good when I was reading it, but like afterwards it's good. This was a really good YA mystery. I really love YA mystery books, and this one really delivered for that. I was caught off guard. I didn't really love the main girl though. She definitely kind of pissed me off a bit, but other than that, it's great. This one, Hunting Prince Dracula, this was actually a reread. I read this for the first time 2 or 3 years ago, and I reread it because I was kind of wanting to wait, no I didn't. I love when I lie. I always think this is the first book, but it's the second one. But I read the first book like 2 years ago, and then I finally picked up this one. I enjoyed it. I liked the setting, but yeah, I just don't really think about it. It was more dark, and I'm not like into the dark books, but I really liked it for being like a dark kind of gothic vibe book. I low-key did not like this book, I remember. I just remember not enjoying it or being motivated to pick it up at all, and I've loved all of Sarah Adams' other books, so that was really shocking to me, but I don't think it deserves LOL no, because I still like her writing, and I liked some parts of it, I think. I don't remember. Funny story. I'm gonna put this one in so good because it was so good. Emily Henry's writing, she just knows how to make a perfect story, and I really liked the characters in this one. I liked the storyline. I liked just everything about it. It was really, really great book. Oh god. This book, recently, I've really been thinking about it because I've been seeing more people pick it up, and this is another one that took me 8 months to finally get through. I just could not get into this, and when I finally finished it, I was just like, what's the point? And to me, there was one specific character / plot line that I just did not understand at all of why it would even be prevalent. But on that note, I do think I will be trying to read the sequel soon. Just because people keep talking about it, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll try it. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I'm gonna put this one in so good because this is what I love in a mystery when it's YA, nothing too dangerous is going on, and it's just like solving clues and stuff like that. I love it, and this was so well done, and I really liked how there was like different things in the book that Holly Jackson did to show Pip's school project, like a map, an email printed out, an interview printed out, stuff like that just really added to the story. And I love Pip and Robbie and all the characters. Well, if you know me, you know where this is going. God tier. Yeah, I love this book with my whole heart. It is everything to me. I love it. Everything about it is just perfection. That is the best word I could describe it with. Perfection. And I will not yap about this because if you watched any of my recent videos, you would have seen me yap too much about this. Powerful. This is going in good. This novella was really powerful.
Kinda ate though, kinda ate.
I'm not gonna lie, like it was so good for such a short story. It felt like a full book, and to me I low-key enjoyed it more than Powerless and Reckless, so that was a great time. I love that character so much, and it was such a good story. It was so good, but not like so good, you know. I low-key am done with Carly Fortune, I think. I don't know if this quite deserves... I read It Happened? No. Every Summer After by her. Didn't like it, and I also didn't like this one. So I don't think I'm going to pick up any more of her books, but this one was kind of like, I'll try it. And I don't remember anything other than this book's setting was cool. The Good, the Bad, the Aunties. I'm gonna put this in good. This is one of those books that, like, when I'm reading it, I can't stop, but yet I don't think about it really at all since. This was definitely kind of one of those books that like didn't really need to happen, but we still got it. I still enjoyed it and I love this series so much, and it is just such a good mix of comedy and also like mystery vibes. The Wedding Date. I'm gonna put this in kind of enjoyed but meh. I just don't really think about this book at all, but I listened to the audiobook and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I just don't really think about it too much. I did enjoy the pacing of this book though. That is the one thing I really remember, is kind of the timeline for the trope was really different from other books, and I really liked that about it. Malibu Rising. I'm gonna put this one in so good. It was really, really good. If there's one thing about me, it's that I love a character-driven story when I can get invested in the characters' lives, and that was what this book did. I loved reading and learning about the characters. It was so much fun. And her writing is just so good. I really need to finish her backlog because I think I only have 2 or 3 more, and I've loved all of her books. The one Emily Henry book I don't really like or get. I couldn't get into this one at all. Like, I was reading it and I'm just like not hooked. I wasn't hooked at all. I didn't care. I didn't really love the romance, and some of the plot I didn't really like, and I literally remember like one scene of this book. This one's going in LOL no, because it's very like almost childish, like in the way that it's written for kids, I feel. But I just didn't really enjoy it. It was way too fast paced. Like the romance plot especially, I genuinely got whiplash. Like one page it was something and then the next page is something completely different. Very Fever Dream-esque book. Daughter of the Pirate King. I really enjoyed this one. I think I'm gonna put it in kind of enjoyed but meh. I say this about like all the books, but I was reading it and I was really into it, and then after I haven't really thought about it since. Also, I don't know if I like love siren pirate boat books. It's very interesting considering what one of my recent 5 stars is, but I just don't really know if they're for me, my favorite type of fantasy. But this one definitely, I will say, is my favorite of the type of book I've read, like siren pirate vibe. I think I'm also gonna put this in, I'm between these two. I think I'm gonna put it here because I enjoyed the setting of this book, but to me these characters were a lot older than me, so their relationship I just could not relate to at all, and it reminded me too much of watching my parents at their current age do the things they were doing. I just couldn't really get into it, but I do really like Jasmine Guillory's writing. And in this one we saw, I think, someone from The Wedding Date pop up, and I really liked that because I didn't know these were connected, but I jumped, like this is book like 1 and this is like 5 or something. Like I jumped, I think, too far. Like I need to go back and read 2, 3, 4, 5 before. And I think I might have liked it more then, but still it's just not my age group, so that is why. If I was older I would have loved it, but I just can't relate, so sorry. This book, Counterfeit, I was interested reading it and it was a fun, entertaining time, but there were some parts of it I didn't really like, and I just don't really think about it ever, but it was an interesting read. It's about like it's fiction, but it's about the like fake purse world. Like they sell fake purses. Very interesting to learn about. I think I'm gonna put it here too because this is another one where I was enjoying it and then the twist happened and I was just like, why? I feel like it could have been so much more than it was, but yeah, it just definitely fell flat for me. It felt kind of drug out a little bit. This book I'm putting in LOL no. It just gave me bad vibes. I can't really explain it, but the way I feel like it was described just kind of creeped me out in a way that it was like eerie, and I don't know, I just got bad vibes from what I was picturing, I guess. But yeah, I really enjoyed her other book, 7 Year Slip. I couldn't do it. Deadly Level Scandals. I'm gonna put this, God, I'm putting them all in this one. I think I'm gonna put it here. It was fine, but I feel like this series is definitely my least favorite of hers. It's Jennifer Lynn Barnes, The Inheritance Games and The Naturals. This one just fell really flat and I feel like it had so much potential, but it was very drug out. It was just kind of weird at some points and just didn't feel like certain things were necessary. These Violent Delights. I'm gonna put this in this one. I really enjoyed this book. I do wish I would have read it physically. I read it audiobook and I just feel like I didn't retain all of the information I could have. And I think I definitely would have enjoyed it more physically. That's on me, obviously. But yeah, I really liked the concept of this one, and maybe I'll look up like a summary or something and then read the second one. But I definitely think I should reread it or something. Reckless, I'm also gonna put here. I had a fun time with this, and it was really entertaining to read, but I feel like looking back on it, not a lot happened at all. And it was very much a filler book, which is fine, but like at least make something happen. We got like one reveal, and it was fine, but like that could have happened 50% through and then more could have happened. I mean, it did make the setup for the third one good. I mean, I'd hope after we sat through 400 pages of like nothing. Yeah, and I was really excited to get to this one and have a powerful tie-in, and it didn't really. So I was very mad about that because I was so excited. So hopefully in the next one. This one I'm also gonna put there. Again, I just don't really think about it or remember much of what happened, but I did enjoy it, and I just don't know if like the siren pirate thing is for me. Same time next summer. I loved this one. I'm gonna put this one in good. I just don't know if it's quite so good because I don't think about it that much, but it's definitely one of my like favorite romance books of the year. I really enjoyed the setting of this one especially, and I really liked the romance and the guy especially. He was very cool. There's lots of good characters in this one and just lots of different things going on in the story. Slay. I loved this book so much, and it's so underhyped, but like everyone needs to read it right now. It is like a mystery romance book, and that mix is so good, guys. Like the mystery plotline in this is like my favorite out of the year. This book, okay, again, this is kind of like, oh my god, they're under each other too. This is kind of like Half a Soul. Like I forgot I even read this, but all I remember about this book is I hated it. Maybe not hated, but like strongly disliked and should have DNF'd. Heartless, I'm gonna put this in kind of enjoyed but meh. I just don't really know if I love this series as much as everyone else does, but I still really enjoy Elsie Silver's writing and seeing all of the characters come together, and I love the small town setting. Like this is the small town I love the most. Well, is it technically small town? I feel like people say it's not, but like it feels like it is. Part of your world. I'm gonna put this one in good. I just didn't connect with the characters as much as I have in her other books in this one, but I did love the setting, how he was like in the country and she was like from the city, and they had to like, you know, mesh and whatever. I just didn't connect with the characters as much. I wasn't as invested in them as in her other books I am. Maybe because I feel like low-key, her two latest releases are the ones I've loved the most, so maybe it's like her newer stuff is like my but like her older stuff isn't like my absolute favorite, so maybe that. I don't know. I need to read again more of her backlist. I think I have 2 left and I'm savoring them, so. This book, I just didn't understand the point of it. Like nothing really happened at all, and when stuff was happening, it was just like the same thing over and over again, or like I didn't really care. I feel like the magic system in this was kind of confusing and not explained well. Same with the setting, low-key, like where were we even? Brave Veil, this one, I might keep it in good. I love this series. It's just one I think about a lot, but I think it's like a solid 4-star series, you know, like it's not quite up to the so good level, so still a great time though. It's about Alex. She's immortal, and then she just randomly gets transported into this like magic school, and it just goes on from there and just gets more and more developed, and there's really good found family. I feel like this is like borderline god tier. What am I doing? But again, one of my top romances of the year. This was a 5-star, but this story was just so well done. Again, it was like perfection. Everything about it was amazing. I cannot say enough things. I really want to reread this. I feel like maybe if I reread it, it could be god tier. Under the Surface, I think I'm gonna put this in good. I really enjoyed this book, and it's very special to my heart because I got the ARC copy. I still wear the necklace, the Eiffel Tower chain I got with it, and it just means so much to me because, you know, my first one, baby's growing up. I really enjoyed this book too a lot. I just feel like there were some parts of it that were very far-fetched and got a little out of hand, but overall it was such a fun time and I couldn't put it down. I read it super fast, and I feel like even though it was like a short time in a standalone, we got a lot of the characters and I came to love them, and I really, at the end, I wanted more from them. Like I wanted to read an extended epilogue or something about them because I cared that much. So this book I really remember liking. It's a YA romance, and a lot of the times those can be kind of like cringy, you know, but this one was so good. I loved it so much. It was such a fun time. I really enjoyed this one. I feel like it depicted high school struggles well. It's about this girl who she goes to this new school like across the country, and this guy like messages her anonymously and she doesn't know who he is. And there's just a lot going on. I like this one. Finley Donovan. This book was so good. I keep saying the names of these. This is the 4th book in the Finley series. This series is just, it could go on forever and I'd still eat them up, honestly. They're such a fun time. They're funny, they're high stakes, they're mystery-y, they're everything. I love them. This book, I low-key did not like this at all. I don't know. I just didn't like parts of it. I just didn't really care. Also, the dog needed to be in it more. Heartstopper. I'm gonna do the second one now too. Nothing compares to the feeling of reading Heartstopper for the first time and just loving it and falling in love with Alice Oseman too. Like, nothing compares. Such a fun time, and it was just so fast paced but yet so good because of the illustrations. Like, you just got so much information in such a short time, and it was so perfectly done. The second one I didn't love as much, but I feel like that's just because, you know, there's 5 volumes total. For me, usually I like the first and the third book or last book in series. I feel like that's gonna be the same with this one. Like, I'm gonna like the first and the 4th and 5th the best. So that's just kind of the same with this one. Just kind of like a little setup-y book, you know. I kind of hated a lot of things about this book. One of the characters definitely made me mad, and I just didn't really care. And this is one of those like character-driven books that I could not connect with, and that really made me not like it, because I either love a character-driven book or I don't. You can tell where this one was. Lovely War. Oh my gosh, I actually have so many so goods. I was gonna say it was so good, which it was, but I need to pick another word. This book was so well done, and I feel like it was told perfectly. There were so many different topics discussed, and it was so entertaining throughout. This one, I don't think it's quite an LOL no, but I really didn't like this one that much, and that was kind of crazy since I loved this one. But yeah, I just couldn't connect to it at all, and I just didn't care. How to Walk Away. I'm gonna put this one in good. I really enjoyed this book. It was such a good time. There's very little crumbs of romance, and like maybe we could have got a little more, but I completely get it with the situation obviously. But Catherine Center's writing is so good, and she just knows how to tell a story in the perfect amount of pages. There's a lot more of her books in here. That was my second of her this year. This one, low-key is going in so good. This is by Under the Surface author. I picked this up after getting the arc of this because I'm like, gotta support. This one was so good. It's set on like a semester at sea type cruise ship, so they're learning on it, and a murder happens. That is just such a fun setting because you're trapped on a boat together. What's gonna happen? It's so good, and you get to see them get off at like different ports and explore the cities too. It was fun. And the mystery aspect I was not expecting at all. It definitely caught me off guard, and the ending of this went actually bonkers. I loved it. This book took me a while to get through, and I just feel like I read it at the wrong time, where certain parts of it were kind of, I don't want to say triggering, but like hard to read about with what was going on at the time in my circle. It did make me cry, and I did really like parts of it, but also some parts of it annoyed me a bit, like some actions that certain characters did make me cry though, because how could you not cry? I'm between these two. Because it started off so good, and then lines were blurred, choices were made that just, like, why? Like, why are you doing that? It did start off good. That's the only thing keeping me from here. Basically, I just love Paris. Speaking of, go read this if you haven't. You will cry, you will literally feel every emotion possible. One of the best books I have ever read. Such a good moving story that will teach you so much and break your heart. Okay, this book, I'm gonna put this in good. I just feel like I've read this at the wrong time, kind of, because it was in my September TBR, and I was really trying to actually finish a TBR for once, so I definitely forced myself to read this, and I feel like I would have enjoyed it a lot more had I not done that, because it had all the right qualities, like a relatable FMC, a good setting, and a wedding. But yeah, I just definitely forced myself to read it when I wasn't really in a romance mood. I think I need to reread this one, and it might be up more. This one surprises me that I don't think about it more, so that, wait, whoa, wrong one. It surprises me I don't think about this one more because it's about like a famous guy singer and she gets with him, and like that is a recipe to have my name all over it. But I just don't really think about it. I don't know if again this was the right time or wrong time because it was like also my September TBR, so I was forcing myself to read it. This is a DNF. This book I've had for actually like 3 years, and I finally started listening to it and I just couldn't care less. Don't really care about the romance, didn't really like it, so I DNF'd it. And I'm proud of myself for doing so. I'm gonna say it again. On my September TBR, I was forcing myself to read it. I definitely feel like I kind of got into a little slump because of this. I feel like the book had potential for me to read it if I was really in the mood for it, but I just wasn't really. Yeah, it's kind of Six of Crows vibes. Maybe I'll put it here. Because I did really enjoy the ending of it, and certain parts of the story were really good. But yeah, it's definitely one where I think it was the wrong time. So on that note, don't know if I'll be doing monthly TBRs again, because when I actually read it, I got into a slump and rated all the books lower than I probably would have if I read them at a different time. The Fine Print, I low-key enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. I've been putting this off because I feel like the series isn't like super like loved. Like people enjoy it, but they don't like love it, I feel. And I just wanted to love it, but I just didn't. I really enjoyed it. And I liked the setting, enjoyed the characters. It was fun. I just feel like this book really wasn't necessary, and in some ways it kind of felt like it wasn't even connected to Better Than the movies. Like it just felt like a completely different vibe. The characters felt completely different, which like after reading it I get why it wasn't necessary, and it really changed the dynamic of their relationship, which was perfect before. This book, oh my god, I'm gonna say it. And I'm sorry. This book feels like if someone typed into ChatGPT, I don't know, I don't use AI, fall spicy TikTok book. That is what popped out of the results. This book. It just felt very artificial. I just don't look for that in a book where the spice is all that matters. The cover's cute though. This is another one of those like more character driven fiction books. It was fine, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't something I was like super cared about. It kind of centered around this supper club that was passed down through generation to generation in this family. It wasn't anything super memorable, but it was enjoyable when I was reading it, and there were certain storylines I was really invested in. The Siren. I'm gonna put this in good. I really enjoyed this book, especially the audiobook. It was super fast paced, and I feel like it was very good for like a YA mid-grade fantasy book. Again, I say I don't really love siren pirate things, but this one was done well where I really enjoyed it because you got mostly them on land doing normal things, but like they were still sirens. That is why like it wasn't just on the water the whole time. It was barely on the water, so I really liked it. It was just very well described how their siren duties worked and stuff like that. This one was honestly really good. I really enjoyed this one. Part of the twist was definitely predictable. Like I saw that coming a mile away, but I still really enjoyed it and it was fun. So entertaining. I could not stop. Like I sat on the floor doing my reading journal for like 7 hours straight just listening because I could not stop. Phantasma. I'll put this in good as well. I really enjoyed this book. I liked the romance a lot, and I really liked the vibes of Phantasma, and I thought that the trials were super well done. They were very unique. There's a lot of books with trials, Powerless, that just feel very kind of similar to other books in a lot of ways, but these were very unique to me. Maybe I just haven't read other books like it, but I really thought this was well done. And Kaylee Smith like did such a good job developing the world. Like it was so well thought out and developed, like so good. This book was okay. It's by Ashley Poston, who wrote A Novel Love Story and then The Dead Romantics and 7 Year Slip, which I didn't really know this was her. I've had this book forever. I randomly picked it up at half price, I think, or a garage sale, and it was fun time. It was interesting. It definitely felt like for a younger audience, but I still enjoyed it. I just feel like some of the world building and the descriptions were missing. This was for my childhood books video. So these I like don't really want to rank, but I will. I'm gonna put The Fault in Our Stars in, but keep in mind I've read this like 10 times. I think I'm gonna put it in good, but that's just because maybe like 8 years ago, it was definitely like, it was like god tier. It was up there for me. I loved it. But now I just don't really think about it that often, but it's still such a good book to me. I loved it as a kid, so it's just nostalgic. But yeah, I think it's definitely here just as I've matured and read more. I don't know why the locked door is in between this, but I'm gonna put this in I forgot about this. When I saw this book to do this, I was like, I read that, what was that about? I don't remember any of this except for what the title means. It definitely belongs here. Her books are just really fast paced though, and I really especially like listening to them because I just won't be able to stop. I'm gonna put Mara Dyer in good. I enjoyed these books. They are very much a fever dream, it feels like. I still don't quite know what's real and what's not, and I've read this now 2 times. It was very entertaining. Like, I could not put these down, and I was just planning on reading the one. I read all 3. Very, very gripping stories. Okay, this book was like, I read it when I was like 10. I'm gonna put it in, I don't know, I don't even want to rate this. I'm gonna put it in good because I loved this book as a kid. Like, this was my book. This one, it took me, again, a solid 8 months to get through. It just felt so boring and repetitive and just pointless at a lot of points. I just couldn't care, and it was very, very, very predictable. So I don't know if I'm going to continue the series. This one I'm also going to put here. This is the only one of Catherine Center's books that just hasn't hit for me. I just didn't really care. I couldn't connect to it, and it was kind of centered around like an elementary school, and that's just not, I guess, my favorite setting to read about, like all those kids and everything. But I did enjoy learning more about the guy character, especially, and what he has been through. His story was actually crazy, and I loved watching him grow in this story especially. He had a lot of character growth. I'm like borderline so good with this one, low-key. But I think I'm gonna put it in good. I read it kind of recently, maybe a month ago, probably less than a month ago, so I feel like it's still kind of fresh in my brain. That's why I'm thinking so good. Like, over time, I think it's gonna be good. I love this book. I am so excited to continue the series. I love the characters, and I feel like the series just has so much potential after reading this one. I'm so excited to continue it. It was a little long though, and I did hit a couple slow points where there was one point I didn't pick it back up for like 3 weeks. There was just some slow points. This one was good. I really enjoyed this book. This is the only Christmas book I've read this year because I just have not been in the Christmas spirit. But I do feel like though, randomly in January I'll get in the spirit. I'll pick some up for like the winter vibe. This one was fun. It's a time loop one, which I know isn't a lot of people's things, but I really enjoyed it. And she's a window designer, and I liked hearing about the window displays that she was doing and just the New York vibe and all that. And it was very sweet, the romance. And I really liked, again, I feel like with these time loop books, there's just a lot of character growth that happens over a quick period of time because like obviously you have to figure out what you're doing wrong to stop the loop. I love that. Okay, this book is so underrated, I feel. I'm gonna put it in good. This is about our 2 main characters, and they used to date a while, maybe like 10 years ago, I don't know, but basically they kind of meet again like unexpectedly. They don't even know they're about to meet, and the guy has to be her lawyer for something, and basically they end up getting kidnapped somehow and into this massive like dangerous game that's going on, and they just deal with a lot of like crime lords and stuff in Vegas, and it is such a fun time. There's just so much going on that's like crazy. Like they're kidnapped, there are car chases. Okay, I don't know if there's a car chase, but you know, there's just stuff like that going on, so it makes it so fun. I love this book. Guys, I don't know. I think I'm gonna put it in so good. I loved this book because there was so much character development in it, and I really enjoyed how she was a firefighter and seeing the other firefighters and just all the people in her life. There was so much that had to be learned and experienced with them, and it was so well done. Guys, I'm thinking God, I don't know. It was an incredible story, and again, Catherine Center's writing is so good, and she just has her page count down. Like, she can fit a story in 350 pages, and that is Vardacia. I'm gonna put this one in so good. This is the last full book in the Madoran Chronicles series. There is some like novellas and like another short story book, but this is the last full one, and with this, everything went down we've been waiting for, and I loved how it wrapped up and how we got to see how everyone's story tied up, because there's so many different characters in this book that you grow to love, and you got to see how everyone's wrapped up, and I loved that. It was really well done, and there was a big aspect of this that I didn't expect, but I feel like it was really enjoyable and helped make the story a lot more entertaining. Wait, is this my only fantasy and god tier this year? Wait, that's low-key sad. Fantasy is like, I feel like my favorite genre and the highest potential to be a god tier book, but this is the only one this year. I just was not on my fantasy game. This book was so beyond good. The storyline was so entertaining. This does have like the kind of pirate boat aspect. It wasn't the whole story and it wasn't the whole setting, so I liked that. The way this story took, I just was not expecting at all. I went into this book so blind, and I love doing that because I get so caught off guard in a good way. This book I listened to on audiobook, and I kind of just picked it up because it was like a short read. It sounded interesting. I mean, it was fun. It was fine. It was kind of entertaining, but it just also spaced out a lot during the audiobook and just didn't really keep my attention. Same with this one. I really liked the premise of this book. It really sounded so good. I feel like the reveal definitely fell flat, and also I guess it was just kind of boring. Like there wasn't a lot going on, and it just had a lot of potential that definitely fell flat for me. I didn't rate this memoir, The Third Gilmore, but I did really enjoy it. I just feel like most of it was about her like dance career, and I'm not super, I've never danced. I tried for one class and then I failed. So that is just something that I don't really know a lot about, and also I'm just not someone who keeps up with celebrity gossip and drama. So I really enjoyed this though. I'm gonna put it in good. I love Gilmore Girls so much, and it was interesting to learn about how the acting and showbiz industry works, and I really liked learning about her relationships, especially. Why am I talking like this is fiction? Like, you guys know her life. I really liked learning about her husband. I can't remember his name, but her most recent one. Like, their love story, so good. I loved learning about it. Spark of the Everflame. Okay, this book, I feel like it's good, but maybe so good, but like read it so recently, so I don't know. I feel like this book had so much potential and it was really, really good, and I liked how we were kind of learning with the main character, but also she definitely pissed me off at some points. Like some of the things she was thinking, I'm like, girl, it is so obvious. It is right in front of your face. Like, open your eyes. And I feel like I've heard that about the rest of the series too, so I'm definitely kind of scared to continue it because she just really kind of annoyed me at some points. I liked the setting, and there's some characters in this book that I really like. The world was cool. It was cool to read about. I liked it. And I like this type of world where like she's a little peasant and the big fae guys, whatever. I like that. Guys. This was a reread this year, and the first time I read it, I remember I got it from the library and it was about to expire, and I'm like, oh, I should have read this before it expires. So I kind of forced myself to. That never ends well for me. I didn't love it then. I was so dumb. I reread this. I love this book more than anything. I am just itching to continue the series. His writing is beyond incredible. This book will make you cry and will make you feel everything possible, and you will be annotating. Window shopping. I'm gonna put this in. I'm gonna keep it here, but like I didn't forget about it because clearly I read it recently. I just don't know if it deserves to be an LOL no, because I did enjoy part of it and there was some interesting things going on and like storylines, but it was just a short little novella story. It was fine. It didn't really get me in the Christmas spirit or feel that Christmassy, but I still enjoyed it. It was fine. This book 8. This book was so good and so unexpected. Like, I feel like I've seen a lot of people who have similar tastes with me enjoy it, but I didn't think I'd love it as much as I did. I loved her writing. Chloe Walsh has such good writing. Like, it's so easy to understand. I just love almost all of the characters in this book. There's some that are just not good people and whatever, but all of the good people in this book, I love them with my whole heart. And this book is actually 800 pages technically. Like, my Goodreads says it's the longest book I read, but it feels like nothing. Like, I was just like, I couldn't stop. It was so addicting to read. I loved it, and I binged this, which, like, binging an 800 page book, insane. That is the books I read this year. If you have read any of these, please let me know your thoughts and let me know what your god tier books are. Like, please, because clearly my category is lacking. I need more. So let me know, and I'll see you guys next week.